I look at that fight and just think about how incredible Izzy has been and what he's done. And it's like I see everybody else, they're like sad, and everybody's there. It's kind of like mourning, like, oh man, this great fighter. But it's like this happens to every single fighter after a certain point because they fighting at the very elite level. Like the thing about these champions is once they get to that level, like it's the same thing with Brandon. Everybody you fight is on the way up and is the very best of the new breed or the new or whatever. Nassourdine is a good example of that. He's 5 or 6, 7 years younger than Izzy in his prime, hungry. So it's constantly like being at the very tip of the spear against the most amount of danger. And how long can you do that for, man? I mean, at 35 years old, if you're just a step, just a hair slower, just a hair, just like Roy Jones, the guy was all reflexes. He would hit people, come back, and they couldn't even touch him. He got just a little bit slower, and that was the difference. So I think that's what we're seeing with Izzy. I still think he looked really, really good in the fight. I think he can beat tons of people. I think he can beat Nasruddin, in a fight. But with the style that he has and the way that he strikes, and that division and the young guys coming up, I mean, you're seeing it, the top five with Robert Whitaker and Izzy and these guys that have been there forever. And again, instead of looking at that as like a fall for grace, I just look at it, I'm like, wow, how badass are these guys that they've been here this long? Like these are guys that have been here 7, 8 years. Robert Whitaker, I mean, they've been in the top five and top 10 for so long. Man, it's not easy. So we see a big shift coming in the middleweight division, and that was an example.